So as per cybersecurity we're talking about, it's a very vast field. Okay, it's deep like an ocean, you can say. And the more you dive in, the more you can explore it, right? So I have filled a couple of my buckets out of that ocean, you can say. So I have like been certified into, you can say, starting from basic like Security Plus, CTIA, CHFI, ECIH, CSA, right? And even I'm um, delivering the CCISO, if you know about the CCISO, Chief Information Security Officer, right? Those you can say courses, certificates I'm delivering that as well. So these are a couple of, you can say, in short, the buckets which I have filled from the ocean of a cybersecurity, right? Getting back to this about InfoSec Train, a quick brief about them. So InfoSec Train, it was established in, you can say, 2016, right? And we are one of the finest security and technology training and consulting company. Wide range of professional training programs are there, certification and consulting services in the IT and cybersecurity domain. We do have a high quality technical services, certification or customized training programs which are curated with professionals of over 15 years of combined experience in the domain, right? We do have our endorsement of 4+ years of services, 70 plus pool of trainers, 150 plus courses offering, 15,000 professional trained, 100 plus corporate delivery, 10 plus valued partners. Trusted clients, Citrix, Samsung, Infosys, Genpact, Microsoft, VMware, HP, AMC, Cognizant, Deloitte, HCL, Oracle, Capgemini, Accenture. Now, getting back to the topic of a course of free download, what actually a course of free download is, or what does it meant is, uh, see, have you guys ever seen um, flashy pop-ups in front of you when you're accessing a website? Grab this prize or something like that, right? Do you think they are safe or genuine? Not just that, I would say, have you ever visited a website like Torrent? And if I ask you, have you ever tried? Because I have done that. That's why there's no denial in that. Have you ever seen you're downloading some games which is not in the Play Store? You can say maybe outside the Play Store. Okay, third party one. So those games, are they safe? Like for example, I would say, uh, if I say this PUBG, quite a popular one. Recently, it was banned in India, isn't it? Correct. But still, people were playing it, and they were downloading the cracks, or they were downloading it from the third party, isn't it? We have some games. We see games are there. A lot of games are there. PlayStation games are there. PC games are there. But the original ones, you have to pay some amount over there. That you have to pay for it. But if you do not want to pay for it, we do always have a crack version of it. Are they safe? So these things are absolutely not safe. We do it for just, you can say, so that we can get things easily without any cost, but they are absolutely not safe, I would say. Reason being, if I am downloading a crack, if I am downloading an application of someone else, it means the one who designed it, the one who made that application has the entire he knows in and out of that application, right? And what if that person might have put any backdoor entry? Backdoor as in something which will be giving me a direct access into your system. So what if a backdoor entry or malicious codes are attached to that application, which will be helping that person, the one who created that application, to get access of my system? Is it possible? What say? Isn't it? Getting my point? What I'm trying to say? Absolutely. Right. So when the first thing which says curse of free downloads, this is a curse of free downloads. We think that okay, we are getting things for free, but actually nothing is free, isn't it? People, just to save couple of bucks, they go for the free version or the crack versions, and they can cost you a lot, right? Because you can easily get compromised out of it, right? uh, so what do we have? Like, we have things like, you can say this drive by download things, right? Not just that, I would say there is if you go through some articles, the hacking articles and all that part, you might have see, hackings are being done now and day, like, other day, every day. I would say every day hacks are there. I was reading an article which says, like, during post pandemic, the number of attacks which has been happened, that is twice the number of attacks which have been in past 10 to 15 years. That much of an attacks are happening. So my point is, if you think if you're safe, you're not safe by these things, right? By even downloading a free application, if you think they are secure, they are just giving you a free access to maybe Netflix serials or to songs like Spotify or something like that. No, actually, you know everything comes with a price, and you are on a verge of getting an attack, right? If you're not, that is fine. In case if you think like your system is not hanging, your mobile is not hanging, or something fishy is not being done over there, you're fine at that particular point, but still you're not safe, right? So think in a long-term manner, you can say. That is a 1 second thing you can say. If you're hacked one day, all the data are gone, right? Any which way, but my point is, if you're trying to go for a free downloads, they can cost you, you know, highly, like high impact is there. They can easily breach your data. They can steal all your data from it, right? So what do we have, like, in terms of the first slide, which says, can you get a virus from visiting a website? Definitely we can get it, right? We have drive-by downloads things which can easily do what? Which can easily transfer the malwares in your system. Okay, they can easily transfer the malwares into your system, right? So it can be like both the ways. Everything is safe until a hack. Pretty good said. Very well said, I would say, right? And you can get a virus from a website without you knowing it, correct? So it can, like, if you think you are not clicking on anything, even if you think you are clicking on a login page, it can download a malware into your system. Those things can be done, right? Click checking, you can say iframes are there. Iframes, if you know about it, let me show you those who don't know about it. Let me just write. In front of you, it looks like that this means what? Like, in front of you, you will be seeing that, okay, there's a play button. Maybe a game is like, you are starting a game or something like that. But behind this frame, the actual thing is what? A pay button. And maybe it can be what? It can be a download button also, which will be downloading a malware into your system. That can be also done. Right. Phishing ways are also there, sending attachments, sending links, and they'll be redirecting to a page where it can, easily transfer the malwares into your system. And when I'm saying free downloads or something like that, they'll be giving you an application which, I can say luring you, making you fell for the trap. We say that you can have access to the free songs of Spotify and Netflix and all that part. But eventually, that is an application which they have created, and they have a backdoor entry into it, and through which they can easily control your system. And these things can be happen out of it, right? Uh, in case if you have noticed it earlier also, different ways are there in order to transfer these things into your system. Actually, I will talk about it. Uh, okay. First thing first, can you get a virus from downloading? One of the most popular ways for virus to be spread is through pirated media and software, not just virus, rest of the malwares you can say. So look for cracks or serials for popular programs that require a file to be run. These files often contain viruses that execute when you run or when you run the crack program in your system, right? So there was a case in case if I've heard about it, an application which was similar to Netflix. What that application claimed exactly? So what that application claimed, it was something similar to Netflix. The real name was not Netflix, but logo was something similar to Netflix only. Okay. And what they said that if you download this application, like, through this application, they'll be giving you free access to all the channels, or you can say the series, movies which are running in the Netflix platform, right? And see what happens if you notice the pattern. No, if you notice the pattern, like for example, whenever if you have heard about there's a series with the name Game of Thrones, let's take that example, right? Any application platform you can see, be it Amazon Prime, Netflix, or whatsoever. So these are very highly, I would say, popular shows, correct? So whenever their season is gonna get launched, there's a lot of hype, right? And many people are there, those who do not pay for Netflix because they think it's quite costly, right? Either they will be contributing in a group like 200, 200 in India, it goes it that way, that four people are contributing for 200, 200, 200, and then be having access of the Netflix application. But for those who do not pay for it, what they do, like, during this time only, my point is, whenever a new show is getting launched or hype program is getting launched, any movie like that, these things gets activated. So attackers, they do what? Launch an application through which they says that okay, you can see all these things for free. People will download it because they do not want to pay anything. And once they download it, what happens? This is the real scenario which I'm telling you, which happened a couple of months back for Netflix. It was similar looking to Netflix. People downloaded that application, and what just happened after that? They thought that they will be able to access the these series or something like that. But eventually, what was happening, whenever all their data, like attackers, they were able to access their mobiles or their system, because like what was noticed that, like, whenever there was a WhatsApp message, a victim was getting a WhatsApp message, like from any of their contacts, these attackers were doing what? They were able to even reply to that WhatsApp message is that victim was getting from their contacts. So they were able to access that entire thing. Basically, that's what my point is, right? So not just Netflix, I would say from torrents also. When you try to download some free movies, again, you think you're downloading movies, but anything can be attached along with that movies, right? Anything can be done on the basis of, you can say, this steganography. So in front of you, I'll be showing you that okay, this is a normal image, but behind that image will be a malware attached to it, isn't it? And as soon as you're double clicking on this image, you are executing my malware. Make sense? So these things looks, you can say, tempting. So these things can be very challenging. So, like, for the like latest movies, like you might have seen a lot of shows goes on. Like, for example, we have TV channels like MTV is there, right? Etcetera are there. So, for example, in MTV, if any show goes on, not just music, some shows are also going on. So you cannot access those shows on any other platform, correct? So what people try to do, they try to look out for Google. Like, in case if they miss that particular show, they look it in Google, because then again they have to wait for a couple of days. They look on Google. In Google, you get multiple links, multiple application which says that you can access these shows in our platform. You download them, those application. You downloaded it. They are not authentic. Authentic. You can see you won't get those application Google Play Store as well, right? Download them. You're you're in a risk of getting compromised, basically, right? Because those application might have a malware attached to it, correct? So that's why whenever it is said, like, whenever you're trying to have any application, if you're trying to have any, you can say, platforms for accessing movies or anything, like for your own work also, it should be original, because the crack ones can be, dangerous for you. They, poses a risk to compromise your system. Risk is the factor, like, it may happen, it may not. But the point is, what if it happened? Everything will be gone. Everything will be gone. Your entire data will be, uh, you know, out, and the attacker can utilize it anyway. How, isn't it? So, a couple of dangers you can say. Free download is like having a viruses, adware, spyware, drive-by download. So virus can happen. Like, we might have noticed this previously also back in the days, that like viruses, what, like whenever we see that our system is performing very slow, we tend to say that okay, it might be affected by a virus, isn't it? Correct. So those viruses were downloaded, like, back in the days. If you remember, we tried to download the things from Google into our systems to play games and all that part. And as soon as you go for it, you download it, and you're under the risk, right? So these things need to be, in short, looked out for, right? Because they can cost you a lot. But does that adverts which I was talking about, those are flashy pop-ups which we see in a website. So once you click on it, you might have seen that either you are being redirected to another website, or some, basically some downloads also even start as soon as you are redirected to another website, and download will be automatically started over there. Like these drive-by downloads, they can be set in such a way that as soon as you went for that website, it will start downloading it gets downloaded into your system, right? Uh, Reason for these malwares also can be that attackers are trying to be, like, behave like a spyware. Spyware, something like these malwares can be a type of spyware also, through which they can spy into your system. They can be and remain into your system for a longer period of time, and through which they can steal and spy on your data, on your activities, which they can utilize later. Ransomware, I can include ransomware as well in this part of it. So it will be lock, or you can say encrypting your files, which makes it inaccessible, or you can say inaccessible to you. And in order to, access those files, you have to pay some ransom to that particular group or a person. You can say more in terms of cryptocurrency, so that you can access those particular files. For more details, or you can say for more use cases, scenarios, or more, things like that, I am also conducting, or we are having a webinar in the upcoming week for the ransomware as well, right? Anyway, so ransomware can be also installed. Like these are the ultimate goals, you can say, of an attacker. They can utilize it, right? Right. We do have a drive-by download also, as I was mentioning before, right? For drive-by downloads. So drive-by download is the unintentional download of malicious code to your computer or mobile device that may compromise your computer, leaving you open for further attack by hackers. So it refers, you can say, to an unintentional download of malicious code to your computer or mobile device that leaves you open to a cyber attack, right? As I mentioned, like in some cases, you might not have to click on anything or press on download or open a malicious email attachment to become infected. It can be done either ways. It can be done in that way, like by clicking also and without clicking also. So it can, through this, they can type by download can take advantage of an application, right, or any web browser that contains security flaws due to any unsuccessful updates or lack of updates, right? So like many other type of attack, cyber attack, a drive-by download doesn't really rely on the user to do anything to actively enable the attack, right? Because these kind of an attack, they can be performed or have the social engineering part of ways to be performed, and sometimes they do not need to perform these social engineering ways as well. Social engineering, like this phishing I was talking about, that is a part of your social engineering attack, right? So drive-by download, they are designed to breach a device for, you can say, one or more like things, like, to hijack your device or to spy on your activity, or you can say to ruin the data or to disable your device. That was the reason for why do attackers use drive-by download. So they can have their reasons, like to hijack your device or to spy on your activity to ruin your data or disable your device. Any factor can be used. Like they can use driver download for these things, right? So they can hijack your device. They can hijack, you can say, to in order to build a botnet. Can I say a botnet? See, botnet, just like a bot, you can say. What is a robot? A bot which follows your commands, correct? Or the one which you can control. So what I meant with that is exactly what I meant with that is, let's suppose if hi Padma. So if I say that, let's suppose Padma's system is there. What if I hack Padma's system? And now once I hacked a system, what I'm trying to do is I'll be utilizing her system to perform further attacks because I'm commanding and controlling her system. So now what will happen? Think in that way. Let's suppose this is Padma Priya's system and this is the Amazon which I want to attack on. So as an attacker, I'll be hacking her system, and through that system I'll be attacking on Amazon server. So for now, Amazon, who is doing an attack? Is it this attacker or is that Padma Priya? Who is doing the attack for Amazon? Padma Priya's system, correct? So right now, Padma Priya's system is working as a bot for me. I'm commanding and controlling her system, right? And having a chain of more bot like that will be known as a botnet. Make sense? So I can use these drive-by downloads. I can put the malwares into your systems in order to hijack your device to perform as a botnet, or to infect your device or another device, or maybe to breach you further. I can spy on your activity to get on your credentials, right? What all credentials you are writing, I can try to get that. Your financial information, your identity, identity, all that thing. Or I can ruin your data or disable your device. I can simply cause trouble or personally harm you. These things can be done, right? So without proper security software or fixes for your vulnerabilities, you could, become a big victim of a drive-by download attack. So as I mentioned, it can be done both of the ways, you can say, right? Like I can, yeah, it can be authorized without knowing full implications. You can say two main ways, or you can say fully unauthorized without any notification as well. So as in, like you take an action leading to infection, right? Like clicking a link on a fake security alert or downloading a Trojan through that. Fully unauthorized without any notification would be like you visit a site and you got infected without any prompts or any further action, right? So those things can be performed, isn't it? So like you might have seen when you get a redirection, people try to steal your credentials also. Uh, those things can be also performed out of these free downloads. So in case if I give you an application and uh, there was this application actually that was from third party. My friend downloaded that. I still remember it. I guess you might not have heard about it. That application was something based on power banks. A virtual power banks were there. So what used to happen in that, like you have to buy these power banks, okay, virtually that will be inside that application. And every power bank, it can be like power banks will be costing from 100 rupees to 200 to 500 and 1000. So what happens after every 1 hour? So if I bought a power bank, after every 1 hour, they'll be giving me some money. So for example, after 1 hour, 100, the power bank which I bought in 100, it will be giving me 1 rupees after 1 hour. So when I bought in 200, it will be giving me 2 rupees. 500 will be giving me 5 rupees. and thousand which I bought in 1,000 was giving me 10 rupees after every hour. So they launched this scheme in order to attract people, right? So my friend also downloaded it. They invested around, many people invested 20,000, 30,000. So it remained there for a month. It remained there for a month. It gave some return to people, but think in that way how big of a scam they did. Okay, people started buying it. The ones who initially bought it, for example, if I bought it for 500, for a month, every hour I am getting 5 rupees. So obviously I'll be in profit, right? Agree with that, isn't it? But what I'm trying to say is, you know, thousands or lakhs of people have downloaded this application and they're buying power banks for 500 or 100 or 200. I'm just paying small amount of money. Now what they did, they smarted, like how they played smartly, because eventually if they have this scheme, obviously they will be, bankrupt, or they will be going for a loss. So people didn't see that. What they thought of, it was a greed. They thought it's a good scheme. I'll be earning more out of it, right? They put some fake articles that we are investing your money and through that we are returning you. But no, what happened? They, you can say, promoted their application, and when people started downloading it, or you can say when you know around 500,000, or you can say 1 million people started downloading this application, purchase some power banks or these things inside that application, this application got closed. It got closed. They ran away. They brought down their entire application from the server. So these many people, those who lately invested their money, all their money is gone. Correct? All their money is gone. And many people, just out of that greed, they invested 20,000, some invested 30,000. My friends did it. That's why I'm telling you, this is a reality. And that company went away. They closed that application. It was blocked and it was on news after that. I forgot the name of it, but it was something related to power bank only. So they got scammed. Not just that, guys. When this power bank was returning the money to the people, so they have stored their account details also, isn't it? Correct? So they compromise their account details as well, their financial information. Make sense? So are you getting my point? How these applications can be risky and they can cost you a lot. So you might have seen while playing some applications or some games also, we see that in order to get a chance, in order to get a revive or a chance again, you might have to see a video, or you might have to download an application, use it, and you will be getting some 100 gold coin points. Ever seen such things? This happens with a lot of games, mobile games. It's quite common. Ever seen these things? And little kids, they tend to fall for this trap. And that's why you might have seen, like, more specifically the cases like whenever you have these grandparents and the kids around them, and they are accessing their grandparents or their parents phone. A lot of games are installed in it, free games, you can say, and their phones all of a sudden started lagging. The processing becomes slow, or they see unusual, they see a lot of pop-ups or a lot of ads more than usual. Ever seen that? And that happens. That's quite a common thing, isn't it? Right? So these things happens a lot. It seems to be a very little thing, but it has done a lot of damage to people, right? Uh, People perform ransomware. People tend to pay them loss of, you can say, money, right? Uh, Financial based impact is there, correct? People, their even datas are breached. So if in case if I leak it out, I can put an impact into your image as well, right? So a lot of things can be done out of it, right? So hidden payloads, we can say, are there, like in terms of your ads or the program which looks legitimate, but you know, but they are malware having an in it. A simple example I would be giving also, like, have you ever seen that you're downloading an application, all of a sudden, your default search engine changes? Ever seen that? You install an application and your default search engine changes. Earlier, also, what used to happen, like, if you're downloading an application, side by side, another application also got installed in your system. You don't realize it, but it was also installed. Flashware was also having that particular scenario through which attackers were able to attack. These are a couple of things which you need to look out for because they can be very dangerous and cost you a lot. As I mentioned, ultimate goals of attackers may include spying and gathering data for further attacks, acquiring data that can be sold on darknet, marketplaces, because in darknet or dark web, you all know, dark web or darknet is something you can say where everything can be sold out. Even a person can sell your soul in it. All the assassinator you're hiring, all the illegal weapons or the software, you can find them in darknet. Ever heard about this browser, Tor browser, right? That is what helps you to get into the dark web. All the illegal activities are performed in it. So your data, they can be like, you think your data is not sold out anywhere, but or not having any value, they do, and they are sold out in the darknet. Dark. So everything has a price, guys. Everything has a price. Okay. Okay. Ultimate goals. I can say penetrating further into systems, networks, or accounts to get more information or to exploit it more. Various types of financial frauds can be done. Identity theft, recruiting the device as part of a botnet, and a ransomware, as I was mentioning before. Simple, like, as in, like, for example, see, if I talk about an organization perspective, let's take in that particular way. So, do you agree with the point that we, as in humans, and this mobile and the laptop are the things which can go in and outside of our organization network? Like, because of our mobile devices, or you can say laptops, these are things which can go in and outside of the organization network. So, what if I download an app as a victim? If I download a malicious application which is free and through which and malware was transferred into my device, and when I'm getting into a organization network, then I can use that, because through that mobile I'll be connecting to organization network, or through that laptop I'll be connecting to the organization network, and I can try exploiting it further, right? Or accounts, you can say, to get more into the several accounts, more into lateral movements, correct? So these are a couple of the attacks which I would also suggest you guys to give it a read about it. 2016 campaign is there, patchwork is there, is ransomware is there. So look, you can say it was a cyber criminal group, which were one of the most prominent early adopters of drive-by downloads, right? So they went on a spree that ultimately ended up netting them $45 million in stolen funds, you can say, right? So obviously they like later got caught, you can say. They were on halt in 2015, when 50 of its members were arrested by Russian authorities. Yeah. So they were using that iframe content, just to let you know, they were using that iframe content which I was showing you in the starting, into the popular, you can say, Russian websites, right? So they were, which allowed the group to exploit web browsers vulnerability through drive-by downloads. And those site visitors, what they were happening, they were redirected to malicious websites and fingerprinted to, we can say, to determine if they were like, they looks like an appropriate website, but they were not, right? So obviously the site visitors become a target over there. So those group, what the doing, what they were then uh, loading the malwares onto the appropriate targets, right? And they were generally like, what they were targeting Russian banking application through which they could easily steal the funds, and they were very careful in covering the tracks, only attacking specific targets and using the evasing, or you can say, evasive techniques to avoid any detection. So it was lasted for several years, and eventually they made mistakes which caught them. So similarly, we have 2016 campaigns also, like, we have patchwork, and we do have this Aris ransomware. Not just that, if you want to read more, I can just list down, just give it a read about them. That's quite helpful. Green Flash were also there. Green Flash, Sundown. Because PowerShell script was being followed over there. Right, Maze is there. Right, so these are a couple of, I would say, uh, give it just read to these things. Maze is also there. So that's a ransomware. This is also pretty good. Just give it a read about it. 2019, if I'm not wrong, just check it up with that. And they were delivering this Eris ransomware. They were having this malvertising campaign through this pop cash ad network they were using that redirected the users to this. There was an exploit with the name RIG exploit kit, right? It is quite a good piece of a code that can gain a foothold through this JavaScript or Flash or VB scripts. So through that they were performing this ransomware attack. So you can just give it a read about it. These are pretty good things. So you can see a couple of tips in terms of uh, preventing drive-by downloads. Keep everything updated. That is quite important part of it. Right? Keep everything updated. Limit your attack surface. Avoid shady websites. Be skeptical of pop-ups and ads. Watch out for email links and attachments and the ad blockers as well. Right? These are quite important. Okay, shady websites, they're quite risky. Not just that, uh, a links, I use this example. A link used to pass which is with the name tiny URL or tiny URL2. Okay, so in whenever you see a tiny URL, tiny URL2, something like that, these are actually, it is a short and the long URL actually. So in case if I open anything like Apple, this is something extra you can say, this for your own safety. So if I click on it, copy it, I paste it over here. Can you see of that apple.com/in/iphone? It make a very small URL for that. So this thing can be pretty big. So it will just shorten it, right? So if I try to open this URL, it will directly open. Sorry. If I try to open this tiny URL, it will be opening that particular Apple page for me. See, right? But what happens? These people, attackers, also use such things in order to perform an attack. Okay, so you will oftenly see a tiny URL2 written over there, something like this, which is actually a fake one. And through that, what do they have? They'll be redirecting to a malicious page, which will be looking like a Amazon page to you, but actually it's not an Amazon page. Okay, it looks like that is an Amazon page where you can spin a wheel and get a or win a reward, something kind of a scenario, but actually that is totally fake. That is absolutely malicious. Absolutely wrong. These things happens. This is quite common in that. In family group, it tend to happens a lot, right? So how you can be safe out of it? If I give you an example, just give me a second. If I give you the comparison now, this is just for your safety. There's something through that, the link will be also giving you some applications to download as well. That can be also happen. So if I open this virus total is a platform which can help you to analyze the suspicious files, domains, IPs, and URLs to detect any malware and other breaches. So if I have a URL, if I paste that URL, see guys, when I pasted that link in the this virus total, it says 14 security vendors flagged this URL as malicious. It's a phishing malicious link. Can you see that? Others gave it a green light, but still, these are the one very promising as well. And they said that it is absolutely the malicious one. And if I show you mine, which I just used of Apple, which I just created, let's see what it says for the same. No security vendor flagged this URL as malicious. Make sense? So it means it's completely safe. So, all right, I would say that's it for the day. Thank you.